Hey, what's going on, guys? It's XERXES here, back with another video, and today I'm joined by Jacob. And he started there. And what's going on today is I'm going to be playing a game that Jacob tells me is great, called Depression Quest. He is going to be watching me play this. And he's going to be listening to me reading, because he's sort of delayed, so, I mean, he'll have to, but, I mean, ish. But, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this, it's going to be amazing content. Let's get right into it. Alright. Got a picture of, I don't know what that is. Okay. It is...
Oh, I want you to play with your audio on. Turn your fucking audio on, man.
I don't want my audio on.
Alright, then fuck you.
Okay. Actually, I'm fine. I'll just do it. I mean, there's... Alright. It is early on a Monday morning. You are a mid-20s human being. You have a significant other named Alex, who you are rather fond of, that you have been seeing exclusively for the past few months. The rest of your social circle consists of a variety of friends and acquaintances, some of whom you met at your day job, which is a little boring, but pays the rent. You'd like to be doing more with your life, as with your parents, but you're still in the process of figuring out what that means and how to go about it. You're also dealing with motivation issues that sometimes makes dealing with these things difficult. You feel like this is probably your fault, and on bad days can feel inwardly angry and down on yourself for being lazy, but you're not quite sure how you can break out of it, or how other people deal with these feelings and seem so very functional. You spend a lot of nights fixating on thinking about this, but never seem to do anything about it other than lose sleep. Alright.
Excuse me, we can't read. You fucking dipshit. Fucking scroll down, mate. I can't see. Help. Oh. They lost sleep. That is unfortunate.
Yeah.
You can click on the blue ones, by the way. If you haven't figured that fucking out.
Oh, I know.
Alright.
Alright, here
Who
we have...
needs details?
I mean... Yeah, I'm gonna see. Can I go back?
Oh, fuck you. Don't... Never retreat.
Alright. Alright. Here we have a nice quality picture of a page up button, along with a arrow and 8s and numbers on a keyboard. Looks like a very expensive keyboard. Not at all, actually. Looks normal. Anyways.
No, this is at least 3 shekels.
Yeah. Alright. It's an unseasonably warm Wednesday evening. Aw, that sounds like Arizona. You've spent the past several hours at work. The past week or so you've found your job motivation flagging more so than usual. You've been in a fog practically all day today, simply going through the motions without realizing even what you've been doing half the time. And yet time seemed to be moving at half speed. You're so checked out that when your boss approaches you to tell you that it's dead and you can go home early, it barely registers. As you walk home, the streets hiss from the recent rainfall. You know that your significant other will be in classes until late, another couple hours at least. You briefly consider using this serendipitous and the serendipitous, I don't know that word. I have no word. Yes. Solitude to catch up on that project that you've been working on haphazardly for the past few months. It says Project Bow. A while back, you and some of your older friends were out bar catching up after liquefying considerably. more of your paycheck than was perhaps responsible, ending up thoroughly in your cup.
I don't think we're gonna be able to see that. Oh, okay. It was just the fucking
Delay.
thing being so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You open up to the only people you really consider yourself close to, and end up launching into a drunken tirade about the meaningless of your utterly menial job and ultimately your own existence. Having never really seen you in such a state before, your friends were briefly taken aback by your sudden uncharacteristic outburst. One of your friends suggested that you get involved with your hobby on a more regular, long-term basis, suggesting that spending your energy on something that you actually care about might help you to better cope with the poopiness of your 9 to 5. What's a 9 to 5?
But I got to censor yourself, you fucking faggot.
Yeah. Although you were embarrassed that you let your guard down and you felt self-conscious at seeming to have single-handedly brought the mood down at the table, you convinced yourself on the cab ride home that maybe it would be worth trying it out. You began your project some months ago and have miraculously managed to keep at it, though your level of motivation and subsequent effort rises and falls considerably. While you were surprised when you started at how good it felt to actually work on something you were passionate about. Lately, you found it hard to muster the energy to really care about even this. So,
the fuck is the point?
It didn't even really. It didn't say anything about the project. It just said like you hung out with some friends and now you're gonna start a project. Like, I mean.
Yeah. Don't worry, man. You didn't want to. You want to learn the backstory behind the project, not what it actually fucking was.
Yeah. All right. So now, as soon as you think about the work that awaits you at home, you can feel the panic creeping in from the back of your brain. Unbidden, all you can think about is how incredibly far behind you are, and the amount of work seems nothing less than insurmountable. By the time you arrive home and change out of your uncomfortable work clothes, the stress is weighing down on you like a heavy, wet wool blanket. That is actually really heavy. Your computer seems to be staring you down from your desk. Okay, you want to sit down and work, but the mere thought of trying to work sends your stress levels flying. More than anything, you feel suddenly and absolutely exhausted. You feel a strong desire to simply hide in bed. Do you? That's what, do you order some food?
What's the point of the first option?
Apparently the first option
there was literally nothing.
The option one is
if there was
crossed
literally
out.
no way you could have.
So it's basically
There's you have to ever actually able to do the first option.
Yeah. So
obviously, it's fairly obvious what you need to do here.
But it's also crossed out, so I can't select that, which is stupid.
Obviously, is what you need to do.
Yeah. So option one: order some food, grab a drink, and hunker down for a night of work, which you should do. That's the smart thing to do. But no.
This is in order of things that you definitely this is the order. It's fairly obvious what you're supposed to do if you can't do the first one. You're supposed to do the second one.
Reluctantly sit down at your desk and try and make yourself do something. 3, turn on the TV, telling yourself you just need a quick half hour to unwind from work. 4, crawl into bed. You're so stressed and overwhelmed you couldn't possibly accomplish anything anyways. I'm gonna go with option 2, but I'm gonna read these things. You are depressed, interaction is exhausting, and you are becoming more and more withdrawn. From what? You are not currently seeing a therapist. You are not currently taking medication for depression. Oh, that's sad. Alright. You want to go with option 2?
Yeah, don't worry. You're withdrawing from heroin, that's all.
Definitely, man. Alright. More keyboard pictures. Alright. You make a stop at your fridge, turn your favorite playlist on, and sit down to start working. You open the last file you were working on, and as soon as your hand touches the keyboard, your mind goes blank. All the motivation and ideas you had when you arrived home vanish in a flash. Your brain seizes up, and you find yourself physically incapable of any sort of productive thought. You take a break to loosen up, popping into your email inbox, Twitter, and various other internet-based distraction fodder. So it was pointless to choose this option anyways. Okay.
It doesn't matter what option you pick, you're just going to become more depressed.
Yeah. Frustratingly, this pattern continues throughout the course of the evening. As soon as you try and focus on your work, your brain diverts all its energy away from the task at hand. While you keep flipping back to your work, you find the sheer mental effort involved in keeping your brain focused is overwhelming and tiring. A few Twitter arguments, YouTube videos, and sparse amounts of actual work later, your playlist flips back to track 1 and the ice in your glass has all but melted. Well, so the ice just stayed ice. I mean, what else is ice gonna do? Just run around and play tag with the other ice? Diluting the last dregs of the coke you were nursing. Okay, I can't. All right. You look at the clock and realize
this
that
is just a bad game.
Yeah. You look at the clock and realize that a few hours have passed since you sat down to work, and you've made negligible progress. I can't just wake up early tomorrow and catch up, you think to yourself as you climb into bed, even though you know that never actually happened. Next, you are very depressed. You spend a large amount of time sleeping, hating yourself, and have very little energy or motivation. You are not currently seeing a therapist.
Let's just accelerate the process. Kill yourself.
Alright, next. Oh, now we have a picture of the corner of an iPhone, it seems. It is 7:34, Monday, February. It's either 1st, 11th, or one of those. Oh, it is connected with Verizon. That's just great. It's good to know. It's a mild Friday afternoon. Alex calls you from one of her classes, telling you that there's going to be a really awesome birthday party tonight at her apartment that one of her roommates is throwing. You've hung out with this roommate a few times with Alex, and you get along well enough, but aren't particularly close. It's a party. I'd go. I mean, honestly. You don't have work in the morning and have nothing else in particular to do tonight. You are feeling kind of run down, but you have been fatigued most of the time lately. You mention that you're feeling ill because you're not sure how else to explain those feelings to someone else, and say that you aren't sure that you can make it tonight. There's a second of silence over your phone, but you can swear you can hear the sound of your partner's face fall. She tries to convince you anyway. You haven't seen her this week, and she sounds pretty insistent that you come over. She even drops a few suggestively worded hints that you can stay over with them tonight after the party. What do you do? Shake off your funk and go have a good time with your girlfriend. Yes. Agree to go. Say that you really just not feel. Alright, no. Oh, it's just these same things repeating over again. Alright, agree to go. Guessing this is the party music from the Lost World. I don't know what that is. Alright. You agree
Man, I wonder what the correct option here is.
Yeah.
I mean, like, who would have thought that agreeing to go?
I don't think anybody would have, honestly.
Just the way.
Yeah. Alright, you agree to go. Even though you're really not feeling social, you know it's important to Alex, and you'd really like to see her. Seeing her does make you feel better sometimes, and you hope that this is the case tonight, even if it does mean dealing with all this usual social anxiety. The the time to leave rolls around and you grab your overnight bag. Alex's apartment is a short walk away, and there are already people hanging out on the porch. You feel your crest tighten as you approach. Why did I say crest? You feel your chest tighten as you approach the building and try to steal your nerves. You quickly find your partner, chatting away with the birthday girl, and Alex immediately lightens up when she sees you. "I'm so happy you came. I wasn't sure if you were going to make it." A young man taps her on the shoulder, and she turns back to you to apologize and let you know they have to do something for the party. Alex hands you a beer and plants a kiss on your cheek before going off to deal with whatever came up. As you look around, you don't see anyone else you recognize. Alright, so this guy chooses not to say his feelings, but he could easily vent on Alex, which is apparently his girlfriend, and he just chooses not. It's like he's choosing to be depressed.
Also, I like number 1, enthusiastically socialize. Fucking, I'm not even depressed and I couldn't do that. Fucking Jesus.
Yeah, I don't think anyone would be able to do that unless they were on ecstasy. Alright. Awkwardly stand in the same spot, unsure of what else to do. Put your bag in your Alex's. Put your bag in your Alex's room and avoid the crowd in there for a while. Cling to the back wall, sip your beer, and wait for your girlfriend to return. Proceed to drink in earnest, hoping it makes you feel less uncomfortable. I think, actually, these are all bad options. I'm just gonna go with 4, because that's actually, it's the best thing to do, honestly. I love how there's that party.
You literally have, you're gonna fucking, you're gonna die, mate.
Yeah, you probably. Alright, I don't know. Also, why is the title of this game Depression Quest? Why quest?
It's his quest to obtain depression.
As Alex...
You win by living.
Alright. As Alex leaves, you are not quite sure what to do with yourself. Standing in the middle of the room leaves you feeling kind of exposed, and you don't feel ballsy enough to randomly approach any of the groups of people clustered together talking. You head to a clear spot on the back wall and lean against it. For some reason, this always feels a lot more secure. You scan the party for a familiar face or any sign of your partner, and come up with nothing. Not sure what else to do, and worrying that you must look creepy just standing there watching everyone, you take out your phone to busy yourself. I read italicized words that stood out. 20 semi-tedious games of Bejeweled Blitz later, your partner returns. You spend the rest of the night with Alex, occasionally being introduced to people, and nodding along with group conversations even if you don't participate that much. At the end of the night, as you're falling asleep with your girlfriend in the crook of your arm, she thanks you again for coming. Half drunk, she confides that she thought you were going to flake out, and was pleasantly surprised that you managed to come out. She says it lovingly, but you're not quite sure how you feel about that statement. I feel glad that you came out. I mean, now she's believing in you. Actually, it's kind of messed up, actually. Like, you don't just say that to someone. Like, oh, I thought you were going to ditch me. I was pleasantly surprised. Next. Now we gotta... What is this? What is this picture? It seems like the road was, I'm not even gonna try and describe this. I don't even know. Right. It's a little afternoon on a muggy Saturday. Your mother has come over for a surprise visit, claiming loudly that she doesn't see you enough, so she decided to invite herself over. As you converse, she walks around your place, and you get the distinct impression that you're being inspected. Ooh. So what's going on with you lately? So what's going on with you lately? She asks abruptly. Taken somewhat aback by this left fielder, you tell her you're not quite sure what she means. She repeats the question, saying that you haven't seemed like yourself lately. She gestures to the dirty dishes piled in the sink and notes the fact that you haven't called or visited in a while. Your reticence only seems to spur her on more. She presses you, asking if you're having problems at work or with Alex, and you're beginning to feel increasingly battered by her sudden well-meaning but overwhelming inquisition. Under her questions, you become increasingly uncomfortable. You want to be able to explain to her how you've been feeling, but the truth is you're not really sure yourself. Nothing horrific has happened at work or with your significant other or friends or anything like that. But all the same, you can't deny that lately you've just felt drained and as though you're not really here. You wish you could tell your mother these things, but she hasn't been approachable about negative emotions in the past. She is the kind of person who holds the opinion about the solution to any problem to simply try harder and maintain a positive attitude. Stance that has reared its head in past conversations when you've begun to explore the subject with her. You know she's unlikely to be understanding, and you feel the energy drain out of you when you imagine what would happen if you managed to blurt out everything you are feeling. What do? Let her know that you've been feeling down lately and that you appreciate her concern. Ah, no, definitely don't do that. Don't do that at all. That's wrong. Or try to be honest with her anyway. That's close enough. Tell her that everything is fine and thank her for asking. Change the subject. I'm just gonna go with option 2. Try to be honest with her anyway. A more awkward picture. You attempt to tell your mother how you're feeling, despite initial misgivings that you have about doing so. Finding the right words for how you're feeling feels like trying to untangle Christmas lights, searching for the dead bulb in the cluttered mess. She watches you intently and audibly sighs before you can clearly articulate anything. Unfortunately, she reacts predictably. I don't like this, Mother. An attitude like that won't get you anywhere. You need to work harder at getting what you want instead of sitting around feeling sad about it. Nothing good will happen unless you make it happen. That is just terrible. That's just not what you say at all. She isn't angry or spiteful as she tells you this. You try to explain that it's not a matter of that, but you can tell that you're not getting anywhere. Frustration chokes the words in your throat, and you give up on trying to push the subject further. You know she's giving you the advice that makes sense to her, and genuinely wants the best of you. However, she doesn't understand that it's not as simple as somehow deciding to be positive or work harder. It's that those things aren't viable options because of these feelings. You accept your defeat, and the conversation drifts onto another subject. She leaves after trying you to call her more often and take better care of yourself. You sigh heavily as you close the door behind her. You sigh heavily as you close the door behind her. Spend the next few hours laying in bed, staring at the ceiling. The ceiling. Needs to be a comma right there. Next. Now we seem to have a black hole. I have no idea what that picture actually is. It looks weird.
Good job, Mom. You just got your son to fucking kill himself. GG.
I know.
Oh, wait.
It is a lazy Sunday morning. You are idly clicking around online as your phone rings. Sam, a coworker of yours that you're friendly with, asks how you are and makes hurried small talk with you. You typically only ever talk to him on the phone when one of you needs a shift covered, so it's slightly awkward. You're waiting in anticipation for him to ask you to come in on short notice, and when he veers the conversation in a completely different direction. How do you feel about cats? He asks. Mine had kittens a few weeks ago, and I'm having an awful hard time finding a home for the last one of the litter. You don't have any pets, right? It takes you a moment to process the new information, and you're caught off guard as he begins to earnestly try to sell you on the idea of taking the last kitten off his hands. It's not something that you had specifically considered before, and he seems fairly insistent. She's a real sweetheart, really loves people. She got all her shots already taken care of, and the vet said she's healthy as a horse. I could bring her over by your place tonight if you're interested. You look around your apartment and try to picture a cat in it as he continues to tell you about how cute she is. You tell him that this is all kind of sudden and that you don't have anything for the kitten set up here. Oh, don't worry about that. I can bring over a litter box and food and all of that, since you'd really be helping me out of a fix. It's the least I could do. I just don't want you to have to put her in a shelter. Oh, I just don't want you to have to put her in a shelter because they're right and given to you. You can't. You can't help but feel like you're being guilt-tripped, but you decide to give it some serious consideration. It does get awfully lonely around your apartment, and it might feel less empty with a cat around. However, since you've been feeling so down, it might not be a good idea to take on the responsibility of a cat, even if they are fairly low maintenance. What do you do? Seems that we have two options taken out this time. First option. Take the cat, knowing full well that you can take great care of it. 2. Decline, even though you'd be totally capable of taking care of it. You're not much of a cat person. So, the two options that it says you can't pick are, you either take the cat or you don't take the cat. Those are the options that you have. But neither of them are are options that you can select. Alright, option 3. Become a cat owner, you could use the companionship. 4. Decline. You're not in a good decline. You're not in a good enough place to be taking on more responsibility right now. 5. Decline. You don't like cats. I mean, cats are awesome. I'm gonna go with become a cat owner. You could use the company. Oh, I like that picture of a cat. It looks kind of old, though, with whiskers. Still cute. You accept the offer of the kitten and hang up shortly after making arrangements for when your coworker can drop her off tonight. After hanging up, you worry about it if you've suddenly taken on a responsibility that you can't handle, and hope you don't make a small animal suffer for it. You're not entirely sure what to expect, and you spend the rest of the afternoon researching cat care online and trying to think of a name. The evening rolls around, and you hear a knock at your door, startling you out of reading Wikipedia entirely too hard. You take possession of a small, terrified black and white kitten in a kitten. That's not what the picture says. In a carrier, along with everything you need to start taking care of her. You take her into your bedroom, close the door, and open the door to the carrier excitedly. She cowers in the back of it, and you back off, feeling slightly defeated. Remember what you researched on introducing a kitten to a new home, and leave her alone to go mess around on your computer. Hopefully checking over your shoulder every so often to see if she has come out yet. She hides inside her carrier periodically, making sorrowful cat howls long enough for you to start worrying that she already doesn't like you. But by the time you go to bed, she's curled up at the foot of it, eyeing you nervously before falling asleep. Yeah, that's kind of cute. That's kind of good. Over the next few days, you gain her trust, and she begins affectionately following you around, sleeping on you, and hopping up on you anytime you sit down to do some work. Next. I got a pizza box here. It's late Friday afternoon and quitting time is just around the corner. A bright, clear day is giving way to a still, temperate evening. You can hear your coworkers all around you anxiously making plans for their evenings and weekends. But you're really...
It's just, this is getting way too fucking boring. I can't continue carrying. Allah Akbar.
Oh, okay. Well, we've lost Jacob. I'm gonna finish up this chapter right here. I guess that's what this is, and then yeah, once I finish this up, then I'm gonna end the video. For now, this will be like part 1, I guess. You can hear your coworkers all around you. It's a bright, clear day. A bright, clear day is giving way to a still, temperate evening. You can hear your coworkers all around you anxiously making plans for their evenings and weekends, but you're really looking forward to just going home and resting after what's turned out to be a very long and taxing work week. Just before the end of your shift, you get a call from Alex. It seems a group of your mutual friends are heading out to a nearby pub for dinner and drinks to celebrate the end of the week, and they want to know if you'd like to come along. You tentatively tell her that you're emotionally exhausted from the work week, and a social outing like that would just take too much out of you today. You encourage her to go and have a good time. Since you know it's been a while since she's gone out with friends, but the effort feels futile since you know that she isn't going to go without you. A couple of hours later, the two of you find yourselves in a familiar position, on the couch watching comedy shows on Netflix. Netflix and chill, am I right? A box of pizza opens on the coffee table in front of you. As you look across the couch at her, you start to feel anxious. You feel bad about effectively forcing the two of you to stay in tonight. Again. While you are always appreciative for partners' efforts to take your feelings into account and help make sure you're socially comfortable, you sincerely worry that you're holding her back from enjoying a more fulfilling relationship. While she does seem to enjoy spending time with you, as the two of you sit in comfortable, almost contented silence, watching old shows that you've each seen 2 or 3 times before, your ever-increasing fear that your relationship is becoming one-sided weighs more and more heavily on you. You feel more than ever like a burden or a reward to her, and it's virtually impossible for you to see what value you could possibly offer to her in return. First of all, this nagging fear has made you feel more self-conscious than ever, withdrawing ever inwards, and you've started to pull away even from Alex herself. What do? You know, despite the bad times, your girlfriend sincerely loves you. Relationships are a two-way street, and you resolve to always be there for her like she has been for you. Tell Alex how important she is to you and enjoy your evening. Ask Alex if she's happy with your relationship. Don't say anything you're already worried about her being upset with you. Well, thing is, if you don't say anything, you're just gonna be continually worried about the relationship, and you're just gonna continue to be worried, and it's just gonna build up. But ask Alex if she's happy with your relationship. I'm gonna go with that because, well, gotta have that closure. If she isn't, then you can move on. But if she is, then you can stay together. Or if you don't do anything, you're always going to be pondering it, and it's just going to get to your head, and it's going to be terrible. So I'm going to go with option 3. Alright. Well, guys, this has been a good experience. It's actually kind of sad. Depression is a really serious thing, and the It was really serious, and there are people who suffer from it, and it's a sad experience. Now, I hope this game, it doesn't offend any of you, because, like, it might seem like a bit offensive, like, as if the people who made this don't know what depression is really like. But at the same time, I think they're trying to give, like, a sort of, like, a long time example of it. So, I hope you guys aren't too offended of this, and you enjoy this video, and come back for part 2 of it, because I really do want to do a part 2. So, yeah. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video. Bye!